So can you see the slide?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the confirmation. Good morning all. Nice to meet you all. I'm Seunghun Shin, as introduced by Dr. Khu very well, from SHTM at the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. First of all, I would like to say thank you for giving me this great opportunity to share my humble idea and my strength in one of my studies with great people in this seminar. Through this seminar, I want to say thank you first. As you can see, the title of today's my presentation is Importance of Context in Social Media Marketing. So as you can see, it is about marketing in social media platform, but specifically, I would like to focus on how the marketing can be more successful or less successful depending on the environment the marketing takes place. So rather than using environment, I would like to use something sounds more theoretical a little bit. So that's why I use context term in this presentation. The outline of the presentation, first of all, I would like to start with by clarifying the particular idea I would like to focus on throughout the presentation. That would be the first part. And after that, I will share one of my studies I did, which is related to that particular idea. So that is the general outline of today's presentation. By the way, first of all, I would like to introduce a little bit more myself with my mouth. So I'm from South Korea. So I got my undergraduate and master degree in Kyunghee University, as Dr. Khu mentioned. And Dr. Khu was the advisor when I was in the Kyunghee University, and it was a really great experience for me as well. So around 2017, and I went to the US to start my doctorate degree program at Virginia Tech. Last year, after getting my doctorate degree, unfortunately, I have come to Hong Kong as an assistant professor. So that's what I'm now in here. So this is my academic history in a brief format. But the major reason why I say my academic history once again, even Dr. Khu mentioned, is this part. So I was the member when the early history of strc, Smart Tourism Research Center, as most of you are in the member as and now, I'm quite happily to be a member of this research center. So the major point is most of you in this seminar and I in the same group as a member of strc. So even though I shared some strange ideas to problematic methodology, quirky implications, please go a little bit easy because we are the same group. That's the only purpose I would like to say this one. So this is all about the cheap talk about this presentation. So let's go to the main content. So about the presentation, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to interrupt me any moment. So I am open to the question. So let's go to the main content. I said beginning of the presentation is about clarifying which idea I'm going to focus on throughout the presentation. For that, I prepared one example, which is quite related to our life. And for that example, I brought this picture. So let me ask you, this is quite simple question. When you see this photo, do you find any point which is not that recommended highly these days? Do you find any point you're not happy with? I think because most of the attendants of this seminar are really younger people, so they know the answer already, I think. Maybe. So yeah, so that means I'm and you as quite not that younger generation. Actually, the answer I want here is the way the person is taking picture for the person. Actually, I heard a joke a few days ago. If you are asked to take pictures with a smartphone for somebody, if you usually turn the smartphone in horizontal way, that means you're not pure younger generation for these days. In Korean terms, you're not MZ generations if you take pictures in this way. When I heard about this joke, 2 points are clear to me. First of all, I'm not the younger generation at all. And also, it was quite interesting to me because it is new standard, becomes a new standard. So nowadays, taking photos horizontally, especially for some persons, it is not highly recommended these days. Actually, in the past, it was different. When people think about visual content, the photo, the video, the horizontal photos or videos are the familiar ratio we think about. However, nowadays, it becomes a little bit changed. So the vertical photos, vertical videos are not that unfamiliar at all. Maybe further, it becomes a new standard for the mobile context. We know why this happened. The major reason is the device, the main device we are using for consuming visual content nowadays. In the past, the major devices we are using for consuming visual content is TV, cinemas in the films, or TV monitors, laptop monitors, which is horizontal. So in the past, the standard was horizontal visual content, but nowadays we know everything happens in mobile, is through the smart device, smartphone especially. And we know smartphone is the vertical ratio. So this changes our thinking when we're thinking about the visual content, how it looks like. Many people, especially for the younger generation, not horizontal is the only standard. The vertical is a new standard becomes. Actually, there are so many other statistics we can show this kind of change. So according to the statistics about the mobile advertising, only 30% of people switch their device horizontally to watch a video, quite low, and 90% higher completion rate via mobile advertisement. So these statistics show you actually in the context of the mobile, vertical ratio is more recommended nowadays, which can show you some changes in the past. Actually, this is called vertical video syndrome. So interestingly, there was one recent article which proves this syndrome in the marketing field. So as you can guess, the finding of this research, main finding is quite simple. If you want successful mobile advertising, you should go with vertical, not horizontal. So that's the main finding of this research. Then why I use this example for clarifying my idea for today's presentation. As you can see, this example shows you even the same content could be more powerful message, could be less powerful message, depending on which device that message is consumed. In other words, information message could be more powerful, could be less powerful, depending on which context the message is consumed. So that's the main idea I would like to focus on today. This example is only talking about the device, right? But we know there are so many other environmental or contextual factors. Device, which is the example, and platform. It is TV program, it is films in the cinema, it is online website, is it social media platform? Then which platform? Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. All these platforms can affect how we perceive the information message as well. Location, of course, we are studying in hospitality. Location is the big deal. You're consuming the message in the home or at the destination in the middle of the road, right in front of the hotel, in the inside of the restaurant. Everything can make impact how you perceive information message. Time, of course, before the travel, during the travel, right before the decision, or long before the decision. So we can think about so many contextual factors which can affect the impact of content marketing on the consumer's perception. So this is the main idea, the particular idea I would like to focus on throughout the presentation. And from now on, I will share one of my studies, which is related to this particular idea. But as you know, in one study, I cannot explore all the possible contextual factors, right? So I would like to focus on one specific factor in that study, and that is platform. Whether it is online website, in social media platform, which platform you're talking about. That is the main contextual factor I focused on that study. More specifically, it is about destination advertising on YouTube. So as you can guess, it is about video advertisement. As we know, the video format is really effective format for destination because we know destination is really complicated. It is really experience. So rather than using text or just a simple photo, video could be more powerful message. So DMOs are using video format quite many times for their advertisement. But most existing studies are only talking about how DMOs create video advertisement according to it happens in TV, it happens in the movies, not in YouTube, even though your YouTube is the biggest marketing channel nowadays. So this study is about it. Although we know how DMOs can make powerful video advertisement in TV, in movies, but we are not sure how it can be happen in YouTube. If DMOs would like to be successful on YouTube, what kinds of strategy they should use in that platform specifically? So that question will be addressed in this study. So this is online with the contextual specific marketing. This is the beginning of the presentation before the study. Any questions so far?
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
The previous slide you mentioned device, platform, location, and time are all quite closely related to contents in a certain device, certain situation, right? But how about the these days? I'm thinking I'm starting on the design. So the platform, location, and time. This all is about the configuration of a certain situation by illustrating the design of a figure. Can it be possible including the design in this criteria?
Oh, of course. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So maybe I think, in my humble opinion, maybe design could be more closely related to content itself. So yeah, content is also really important. Content itself, it should be fun, it should be interesting, it should be clear. But I said that is not everything for making the content more powerful. So design, of course, then maybe, for example, where the design will be shown to the people. It is outside, it is inside. Depending on that, the perfect design could be also different. So of course, design is the one of the criteria, of course, but also design should be adapted, should be revised, should be based on when or where, with who, with which devices that design will be shown to the people can be another factor. Yeah, that's the message. Yeah, but the in a simpler term, yeah, design absolutely is the one of the criteria.
Because I'm adding another one is the reason why I mentioned the design is that we are trying to create contents and formulate a certain specific design, but the design must be naturally perceived, and design can make the things naturally interpreted to our brain through the eye. So people is statically content is important factor and source for everything, but content must be naturally designed to our eye and brain. That's one.
Right. Yeah, right. Maybe, yeah, that can be related to the particle in the mobile devices.
Yes, yeah. That's correct.
Mm. So any other questions? So far, so good, I hope. So then let's start with the study. So now I'm going to share one of the studies, which is related to this one. First of all, for this study, I should show you one video, which is almost everything about this research idea. So I will show you the video, but most of you are quite familiar with, but please watch the video shot for a moment, just a minute. Yeah, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed a little bit. So let's go back to our screen. So I said this video is almost everything about my research. That's the correct one. Actually, my research I'm going to share from this moment is starting with this video. As you can see, I guess most of you are familiar with this video. And this video is about advertisement for South Korea. And it is created by the DMOs of South Korea, Korea Tourism Organization, KTO. They made this video. What do you think? So from foreigners' point of view, what do you think how the video looks like? Actually, for me, when I see this video at first, I'm sorry, I said, what the fuck is this? I don't know, understand. What does this mean at all? But it was just fun. It was interesting. Actually, if you see the actual comment of this video, or if you see some reaction videos of this advertisement, most similar reaction you can see from the foreigners, especially. They don't know what this video is about, even though they don't know whether this is advertisement or not. So that was quite interesting to me. But more interesting is, as you know, this video became viral on YouTube. They awarded in the World Advertisement Award as well. And they awarded by the president in South Korea as well. So because of this success, another series of KTO's advertisement are also made in this way, quite interesting and fun. So my research was started from here. How this kind of strange video without clear message, I don't know what it is, but how this video can be successful, can be viral on YouTube. I have one. Yeah, YouTube. And how this can be successful so far on YouTube. That was start from this research. I would like to find the answer for this successful story. How this can non-clear message advertisement could be successful. And another material I focused on is the interview of this producer. The producer of this advertisement interview, if you see that, they have some anticipation how they can be successful. So in the interviews, they said, we try to make it seamless like an advertisement because what people want to see on YouTube is not an advertisement. Another thing they said, it was the first time for us on advertisement with no celebrity has ever received that many comments. We believe that those comments are another factor for the successful of this advertisement. So the video successful story, this interview was the starting point of my research. As I said, I would like to find the reason how this kind of unclear message advertisement could be successful as destination advertisement on YouTube. And the interview I found, they have some hypothetical answer. Maybe do not make advertisement non-advertisement, and many comment about the advertisement could be the factor of successful advertising on YouTube. I would like to prove this idea empirically. So this research is all about it. So the introduction is quite straightforward. As you know, YouTube is becoming the biggest market channel in every field, including hospitality and tourism. So it also applies to DMOs. So many DMOs are using YouTube channels for advertising their destinations. But as we know, the YouTube is quite unique channel. It's quite unique channel compared to what DMOs have used in the past. In the past, they are using TV, movies, those things, but YouTube is quite different from them, such as the viewing pattern of the users is different, and they have their own unique functions, such as comment sharing. I think these unique characteristics of YouTube should be carefully considered when marketers want to be successful, when they might make their content which is adapted to the YouTube platform. Actually, these kind of discussion have been well done in other fields. Other field in the general marketing field, they talking about this is the unique characteristic of the YouTube. So marketers should consider these kind of a unique characteristic and how their existing advertising framework should be revised according to that. However, this discussion have been limited in context of destination advertising. Even though in other marketing field, YouTube-specific practices, YouTube-specific strategies have been suggested, quite many, but these practices, these strategies have not been tested in our context. So that is the limitation of our existing literature. So this research tries to gap that literature gap, that gap of the research. How these YouTube-specific practices, which have been tested in other fields, whether they can be also effective in destination advertising, that's the focus of this research. And among many YouTube-specific practices or strategies, in this research, I focused on two practices. First one is native advertising, and second one is comment filtering. Even though you're not familiar with these two terms so far, but I will explain one by one. So at the end, in this research, I'm going to answer this question. So what aspect of YouTube DMOs should consider when they making their content to be successful on the platform? So that's the idea of this research and introduction. So the research background, I'm sorry, just a minute. I have just a minute, sorry. Yeah, sorry, sorry. So this is my wife, so it's an emergency, so that's why, sorry. So this is the introduction. So I said I'm going to test whether these two specific YouTube specific strategies can apply to the DMO's marketing, right? So I will explain one by one, native advertising and comment filtering. What is this and why they are can be effective in YouTube. Actually, this is the one of the beginning part of the research review, but I think we can I can skip this part because it's not that highly important for this presentation. So first of all, native advertising, what it is and how it can be effective on YouTube. I will explain that. So native advertising, for explain this one, I should explain the unique behavior of us when we use YouTube. As we know, we tend to avoid advertisement in every aspect of our life, right? There are so many advertisements in our life, in our environment. When I see some statistics, according to the statistics, a person on average per day is exposed to from 4,000 to 10,000 advertisement, intentionally or intentionally. So we are living in the world of the full advertisement. So we would like to avoid as much as possible. We don't want to see advertisement. That is matter of fact. Actually, this tendency is called as avoidance tendency, advertising avoidance tendency. Actually, interestingly, in some moment, in some context, in some situation, our advertising avoidance tendency becomes pronounced. And one of that situation is when we are using YouTube. So try to compare when we watching TV, when we using YouTube. The first difference we can think about is we become more goal-oriented. Watching TV is just maybe, I think it is just out of habit. We just turn on the TV and without no goal, we just want to see it. But when we using YouTube, usually we have a more specific goal, clear goal. I want to see this kind of video. So that's why we type some word in the video, in the YouTube. So we become more goal-oriented when using YouTube compared to when using the mass media channels. So this kind of a more goal-oriented tendency makes us feel more disrupted when we see unwanted advertisement on that platform. This is one of the reasons why we become more avoidance tendency on YouTube. Another reason is actually we can skip the advertisement on YouTube. Not everyone, but most time we can skip the advertisement on YouTube. So because of these several reasons, our tendency about avoiding advertisement become increased, become stronger, become pronounced on the YouTube channel. In the advertising literature, in the marketing literature, this kind of advertising avoidance of the consumer has been a major topic. And in the literature, they have suggested many strategies how to deal with this kind of consumers avoiding tendency. And one of the recommendation, the literature, is native advertising. In here, native advertising comes up. Native advertising is quite simple, actually. It is all the techniques by which an advertisement is crafted to resemble non-advertising content. So simply, if you would like to make advertisement doesn't look like advertisement, that is native advertising. Actually, there are many examples. First of all, the most traditional format is advertorial. So it is combined toward advertisement and editorial. So we can see on the online newspaper or in the print magazine, so it is advertisement, but it looks like normal article, normal editorial. This is the good example of native advertising. Even though it is advertisement, but the marketers try to reduce the feeling of advertisement as much as possible in terms of the format. In social media platforms, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, even though they are advertisement, but the format is exactly the same with the general person's post as well. So this can be another example of native advertising. The last one, PPL, product placement, is also a good example of native advertising. Even though it is advertisement, but they do not want to make it advertisement explicitly. So these are the examples of native advertising. So the marketing literature has suggested if you want to deal with consumers avoiding tendency, then you should make your advertisement not look like advertisement. Simply, you should think about considering using native advertising strategy in your marketing. That was what happened discussed in the marketing literature. Actually, this native advertising strategy can be explained by the theoretical model, which is persuasion knowledge model. PSM stands for. The main argument of this model is simple. So we know how defensive. So I said we tend to be defensive about the advertisement. This model explains that how defensive you are to the advertisement or to the information message is highly dependent on how you perceive that message as a persuasive attempt. Simply, if you think this message is advertisement, your defensive tendency goes up and vice versa. So this was the main argument of this model. So this model has been well used for showing the effectiveness of native advertising, because native advertising is all about this one. Do not look like advertisement. According to the PSM, that can consumers less defensive to your message. So based on this model, native advertising effectiveness has been tested and possibly significant in many aspects, in many contexts. Of course, it is on YouTube as well. Some YouTube studies in other fields, they have tested whether native advertising is really effective on the YouTube, and they found, yes, it is effective. And those products are beverage, cosmetics, and toys. But once again, this test has not been done in destination advertising. So that's why the first strategy I would like to focus on, which can be effective on YouTube for DMO, is native advertising. So simply, if the advertising recognition, which means you are recognized this is advertisement, this is called advertising recognition. Lower advertising recognition makes you more positive toward attitude or perception about the advertisement. So this is one of the hypotheses I would like to test in this research. First one is native advertising. This is based on the YouTube users' behavior and not tested in destination advertising. So first hypothesis is about native advertising. The lower advertising recognitions makes tourists have a positive attitude, positive perception about DMO's advertisement on YouTube.
Okay, let me ask you one thing.
Yeah.
Actually, generally speaking, the people don't want a certain purposive approach to me, kind of selling their product to me in order to making money. So in that case, I don't want to listen, or I don't want to talk about it with the sellers, because they try to sell to me for their purpose and for their benefits, right? So like the beverage and cosmetic toys, probably the same purpose, but they want to sell them to the users slowly and unconsciously. It's not for my benefit, for your benefit, right? So like avoidance or less defensiveness is kind of a people refuse to approach to me, selling to me something, right? That's why one of the successful, platform is a TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor, they sharing online review with the users and travelers. The posting message is not proposed for selling hotel or products. That's why we rely on their posting, not for selling their purpose, right? It's the same context.
Yeah, right. So actually, the TripAdvisor can be quite an interesting example. Actually, it was started from non-advertising purpose, to my knowledge. It is for just sharing information with each other for the tourists, but it becomes really famous. So that's why now is the advertising comes up now in there. So it can be a little bit different story, but yeah, it can be a good example for this one.
Okay.
Any other questions about the native advertising and so far? Any other point?
Well, I actually have a question. May I ask a question? Yeah, it's just a very simple question, but for me, like when I watch YouTube, it actually, when there's like the advertisement shows up, then it generally says that this is an advertisement. So I already perceive it as a advertisement. So for me, watching advertisement is not my purpose. I actually want to watch some other video, but then the advertisements pops up. So even if it doesn't look like advertisement, I already know that it's an advertisement. So I think I still do have the avoidance for watching the advertisement. So how can you like balance in this research about that? Like, because it's about the perception. So if I perceive it as an advertisement, then I think I'll still avoid watching that video. So I just have a quick question about that.
Yeah, thank you for the good question. Yeah, it's a really good question. So actually there, first of all, as you said, so on the YouTube, many advertisements are titled as advertisements. So we know already it is advertisement. Maybe it is a little bit confused because my message is not clear. Yeah, that's correct point. But in this marketing literature, they found, even though, yeah, the consumers also know this kind of advertisement, what they see now, but if their attempt, the persuasive attempt is decreased in the advertisement, even though they know it is advertisement, but it is not that negative compared to the other advertisement, which is really explicitly want to sell the product of themselves. Yeah, maybe that can be one answer. And another answer for that question, yeah, that's good. Actually, there are some studies, especially for that. Actually, even using the title advertisement or not, whether it can make some difference between the people. So even though they know in the content itself, they know it sounds like advertisement, but they don't have any title of the advertisement. That makes another difference to the people's perception. In some point, they feel I'm teased by these marketers. So they show some negative perception, or some point that kind of a lack of a title or advertisement can be positive as well. So that is another issue for that, whether it is titled advertisement or not. Yeah, maybe I hope that answer to your question.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the question, by the way, again. Then maybe it's time to go to next one. So next one is another YouTube specific strategy, which is comment filtering. Maybe you can guess what does this mean, but I will explain it a little bit further. So we know YouTube has a unique functions as a video marketing channel, video channels, which is comment. So even though YouTube is video consuming platform, but we know it is social media as well. So we can interact with other people through many ways, and one of them is comment. So I think a comment is a really big thing if we want to talk about the YouTube. There is one personal story about this one. So when I go to the home, I watching YouTube, of course, with my smartphone, but my wife also watching the YouTube, but we have two different preferences. So we use our own smartphone devices. We use their own favorite YouTube video. Usually when I see the YouTube with my smartphone, I make it horizontal way to screen as much as possible bigger. But my wife is different. She always using in vertical way when using YouTube. So I was curious, that makes the screen is so small. Why do you always see that way? Then she said, I want to see the comment, read the comment together simultaneously with the video. That's why I use in vertical way. That was quite interesting to my mind, and it is quite related to this one. On the YouTube comment, I think it is not only others' reaction. Maybe it can be one of the part of the video content itself. If the video is not interesting, but the comments are really interesting, then that full content could be really popular on the YouTube and vice versa. So I think a comment is a really big function. It should be studied if you want to study about YouTube marketing. So this is about that. Even though I wrote so many sentences from the research, but simple idea. Comment can be really impact how you perceive the video. So anyway, so in terms of this one, there is one theory which can also explain this kind of phenomena, which is warranting theory. This theory is talking about how people process online information. And their main argument is this one. People use information cues, which are difficult to be controlled by the content creator. So let me give an example. Let's think about the Facebook post. And let's imagine there is one post from your friend which introduces herself or himself in the post. And we can see many information cues in one post. The uploader name, the ID of the uploader, the upload date, the pictures, the text, number of likes, number of shares, and the comment, right? Among these information cues, this theory argues people are fully believe the information cues which are difficult to be manipulated by the uploader. So think about it, Facebook user, uploader of the Facebook, which part they can manipulate freely without limitation. Maybe their own post, their own text, own pictures, they can easily manipulate them, but they cannot manipulate what others talk about his post, the comment, right? Number of likes, number of share. This theory argues that compared to the post itself, the comment of that post could be more helpful for the readers to understand who that person is. So this is the main argument of warranting theory. So let's go to the YouTube context then. YouTube, there are more information cues out there. The video content itself, upload date, uploader information, and comment. Which information could be more influential for perceiving the video? We know video content is created by uploader itself. It is easily manipulated by them. but comment is, compared to that, it is difficult to be manipulated by the uploader. So according to this theory, comment can have a significant effect how viewers see the video content on YouTube. So based on this theory, many studies found the significant effect of comment on the YouTube. So these 3 studies, they talking about different product, maybe anti-drug campaign, forms advertisement about their corporate social responsibility, and health clinic advertisement. When they show the advertisement itself only, and they compare when this advertisement is shown with supportive comment, and they found, as you can guess, video with supportive comment have been more effective in having positive attitude about the subject, about the advertisement. So these have been studied in the YouTube context as well, in other field. But once again, it has not been studied in destination advertising context. We are not sure still advertising for destination can be more powerful thanks to the comment or not. We are not sure about that idea. So I would like to test that idea once again in here. So this is the second strategy specifically for the YouTube, which is comment filtering. But further, I go a little bit further for this one. Of course, it is, I think it sounds too obvious if I say the video versus video with supportive comment, which one is more powerful? Of course, supportive comment could be more powerful, but I would like to say rather than supportive comment should be recommended, I should give some more detailed recommendation about this one. I would like to connect comment filtering with native advertisement. Do you remember native advertising? Native advertising is about making advertisement doesn't look like advertisement. What if that can be supported by the comment as well? For example, if the people talk that video not as advertisement, if the comment said this video is looking really good, this video doesn't look like advertisement. If other people talking like that, maybe native advertising effect could be improved. I found that I would like connection with this in that way with native advertising and comment filtering. So even though I talk about 2 specific strategies, but they are combined with each other in this research. So the general research framework looks like this. It's quite simple. So I said I'm going to test 2 YouTube specific strategies in the destination advertising context, which is native advertising and comment filtering. The main effect is about native advertising. If the advertisement doesn't look like advertisement, tourists would have a more positive attitude about the advertisement or about the destination as well. Furthermore, if the comment also supports that, maybe if people say this advertisement doesn't look like advertisement, if other people say like that, maybe this kind of a native advertising effect could be improved or not. So comment filtering is put as a moderator and native advertising is put as independent variable. And of course, as you can see, the advertising effect is the dependent variable. So this is just a general framework, but more specific research model looks like this. So independent variable is advertising recognition, which is about native advertising, whether tourists recognize that is advertisement or not. And the dependent variable is there are 2, perception about the advertisement itself. Another dependent variable is perception about the destination in the advertisement. And the moderator is the comment, whether the comment describes the advertisement as advertisement or non-advertising content. So this is the full research model of this research. So the hypothesis, first of all, that these 2 is about native advertising. As you can see, I said native advertising is making advertising doesn't look like advertisement. So if they see the advertising recognition is high, then perception goes down. it is opposite way. So that's why I hypothesize the negative effect about these relationships. And comment filtering is this negative effect is moderated by which comment are shown with the video. Does the comment talk the advertisement as advertisement, or the comment talk the advertisement as non-advertisement? Depending on the comment, this negative effect could be stronger and could be weaker. So this is the research model and hypothesis. So far, any questions in this moment?
Usually when we set up hypothesis direction, we usually use a positive way, but why use a negative way in the sentence?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, actually it is based on the literature. So in marketing literature about the native advertising, the main independent variable they are using is advertising recognition. As that's why those literature also talk about always negative impact they hypothesize. So yeah, of course I can set in the positive way, but I think it is more safe to follow the existing literature.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's conventionally they use negative effect toward as.
Right. Yeah, because their main independent variable is advertising recognition. Yeah. Any other questions? So many serious faces I can see, so I'm not sure whether
they are serious. They're serious about their life. They come in here for changing their life seriously.
Okay.
So your role is very important. It's a hugely important to their life. Okay.
So anyway, so this is the research model and hypothesis. So let's see how I'm going to test that. I did 2 studies in total. So 1 study per each strategy. So study 1 is focusing on native advertising, which is negative impact between relationship between advertising recognition and perception. Study 2 is about comment filtering. So I test moderating effect in study 2. Another point is in both study, I adopted mixed method approach. So first I conducted experiment, but another method I also conducted, which is a YouTube comment analysis, because experiment is really effective for finding the internal effect, but it does not reflect the real situation. So I would like to address that limitation as much as possible with another methodology. So that's why I adopted mixed method approach for both studies. I will explain what the YouTube comment analysis talking about later. So study 1 is native advertising about, and first one is the experiment. So the process is simple. To the participant, they see advertisement, and after that they answer the question. That's all. But the advertisement I chose was KTO's advertisement, because this research is all about native advertising, as I said. But in the real example, there are only a few advertisements made with native advertising explicitly in DMOs. And one of the few is KTO's one. These 8 videos called Feel the Rhythm of Korea series. And all these videos are made with native advertising. It is recognized by the producer themselves as well. So they want to make advertisement doesn't look like an advertisement. Specifically, they made advertisement in a music video format, in the movie parody format, or some documentary format. Maybe it is better to show the short clip of the advertisement, one of them, to make it clear. Just a minute. Yeah, I will share the video.
It's not showing. Please sharing your video.
Yeah. Sorry. I should click one more time. Yeah.
Okay.
This is one of the videos the KTO has created. Let me share my PPT once again. So maybe you can feel what I'm talking about the native advertising by KTO, right? So I show this video to the participant and ask some questions. That's the full process of this experiment. And the questions is, of course, I ask some other questions about the control variable, about the demographic. The main questions are here. So advertising recognition. The question is, I think the video was advertising. So it asks, do you think this is advertising or not? Main thing. And the perception about this video and perception about the destination, the city in the video. I ask these 3 questions after showing the video to the people. That's the experiment I did. And this is the general information for the experiment. So 600 people were participated, but some of them are removed because of the invalid response and do not watch the full video or unreliable answers. And all the required analysis were done. And I used the Smart PLS as the analysis program. And so the main finding is quite simple. So fortunately, the both hypotheses were supported, which means advertising recognition has negative significant effect on both perception. So when people think this advertisement doesn't look like an advertisement, if the recognition goes down, their perception becomes more positive, and vice versa. If they think this advertisement is too advertising, then their perception goes down. So in this finding, we found the effectiveness of native advertising can be worked in the destination advertising context as well. So this is the experiment I did, which is quite simple, right? But once again, I said, this is just an experiment. It cannot show how actual people's reaction to this video, right? So I would like to address that point as well. That's why I used YouTube comment analysis. Actually, this sounds a little bit quite technical, but it is really simple as well. So I said in the experiment, the participants show one of these 8 video, and they score and they answer these 3 questions. Do you think this video is advertising or not? So I have the score about advertising recognition for each video, right? I can average them. Based on this average score, I separated 2 groups. So these left 4 videos have a lower score about this advertising recognition, which means the participants see these videos are less advertising or less feel like advertising. Compared to these left 4 videos, the right 4 videos look like more advertising. So it is comparative comparison. It is not totally opposite. It is just comparative. So anyway, based on their answer, I separated one group of the video, another group of the video in terms of advertising recognition. So left video, once again, they feel like less advertising compared to the right side videos. And I compare the actual comment of these 2 groups of video, how the real viewers' reaction are different depending on the advertising recognition. And these are some criteria I used for the comparison. So first one is the length, average length of the comment. As we know, the longer text comment, maybe we can indicate they are more engaged in the writing the comment. And the average sentiment score of each comment, how they are positive when they write the comment. And the last one is the percentage of comment expressing an interest in the destination. So when you see the comment about this video, what you saw, some comments talk like this: I would like to visit that city. I really like this advertisement. I manually counted those comments out of total comment, and I calculated how many comments are existed for each video. So that's why it is the last criteria for this one. So as you can see, when I compare these three criteria about these two groups video, the low advertising recognition has a longer length on average, and their positivity is higher, significantly higher. And the comment expressing their interest in the visiting destination is significantly higher in there as well. So experiment, I found the effectiveness at native advertising through the participant. In here, I actually compared the real viewers' reaction to each video, and we found that if the video feels like less advertising, their reaction becomes more positive, more engaging, and they want to say more, I want to visit the destination. So this is how I test the same idea with a different approach. So that's why I said I adopted mixed method approach, experiment and YouTube comment analysis. So this is a study one. Do you have any questions about here?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So is there any particular reason you use 8 videos? And I have another question. Because you use the MTOP, so maybe most of the participants are the Americans, and use the Korean video. So do you think that not knowing Korean might affect the reason or the results of the experiments?
Yeah, thank you for the question. First one, the 8 video, the reason for I using 8 video is, as you can see in the YouTube comment analysis, I try to separate the videos into 2 groups. So that's why I use 8 video. And one more time, and also in the KTO YouTube channel, these 8 videos are uploaded at the same time with the same title and with the same concept. So I try to use as much as possible because I would like to separate them. And I try to target similar as much as possible in terms of other things as well, upload date and the title and the uploader. So that's why I use these 8 videos specifically. Another one, yes, yeah, that's a good point. The Amazon MTurk, yeah, most of the participants are foreigners. So because I cannot control whether they know Korean or not, so I would like to, as much as possible, control at least some point. So I remove them if they know this video already. And I remove the participant who have visited Korea before. So I would like to remove all of them. So most participant in the analysis result is foreigners who are not aware of the Korean and who have not visited in Korea before. Yeah, that's our how to deal with those issues.
That's very important. The design for research, context. So you students, you must understand these conditions. The things we are controlled. Okay. So once again, there is in this kind of a research context, is whether they were not, the awareness is important. Okay, we delete them and remove them out of our research context.
And thank you for the good questions, Chaehyun. Yeah, thank you. Any other questions?
I have a question, Professor.
Yeah. Who is the first?
Jeon?
Both are ladies, so.
Yeah, Jeon first.
Yeah,
okay.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining your study. I have 2 questions. First is the average sentiment score. I also have an experience of crawling the KTO account of Instagram, and the analysis was not very easy for me because most of the comments were about like short expressions like it's beautiful or I want to go there or tagging other friends. So I thought analyzing the meaningful analysis was not that easy. So I want to ask you, how did you analyze the sentiment from the short comments? And the second question is, about the comments expressing an interest in the destination. I may miss your explanation, but I want to ask you, how did you check the intent of them with, like, how, is there any course or tools? How did you do that?
Yeah, thank you for the good question again. So actually same answer for both questions. So manually I did. So actually the comment, fortunately, I only targeted the English written comment, not Korea, because Korean has the home bias. So I targeted English comment. So that makes the work less impossible. So it is not that many doable, I can doable. So I manually, first of all, the short comment, I remove them, as you said. So many comments are just showing some emoticons and just not meaningful word. So I removed all of those cases. So that's why you can see the comment number are not that high in both groups. But I think it is more important to analyze the meaningful comment, as you said. So I manually removed some short comment without meaningful in the comment message. And also the percentage of the comment is also I manually coded. So actually there are some maybe different perception, whether this comment shows some interest or not. So I try to code it, explicitly say they want to visit. I like this advertisement. Only that criteria I use to make it objective as much as possible. So in a short-term answer, yeah, I manually did that. Yeah, so if there are some good programmers, I can ask them, but I'm not a technical person, so I just use my effort and time.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you. There was another question I remember.
Okay, thank you so much for interesting topic and your presentation. I just wondering, you told that you selected the 8 video clips from the KTO, and because they uploaded those videos at the same time. Mm-hmm. But I feel that when I see those videos, their concepts are similar. It means that for DMO, I mean for KTO, they thought that all 8 videos are native advertising. So it means provider views, those videos can be native advertising, but for demander, customer view, some of them are native advertising, but the others not. So how can we solve or reduce the gap between the provider's view and customers' view?
Yeah, that's a good question as well. So maybe actually that's why I asked the question, do you think how much do you think it looks like an advertisement? Usually in the experiment, we separate 2 ways. This is native advertising and non-native advertising in this context. I can do that, but as you said, provider's point of view and viewer's point of view could be different. So that's why I try to use many videos as much as possible. And I focus on them, whether the viewers think this is advertisement or not, regardless of the producer's point of view. When I say about these 8 videos have the same concept, it only talks about the native advertising concept. So all the 8 videos, yeah, have a different format actually. What I show you looks like a documentary, but other videos looks like a music video, or other videos looks like movie parodies. So their format is different, but their core goal, which is native advertising, is the same. That's why I say their concept is similar. But as you said, the viewer's point of view could be different. So that's why rather than separating advertising, native advertising, rather than removing that, I just ask them question, how much do you think this is native advertising or not? So that's why I use the continuously, measure continuously, not binary. Maybe yeah, that's the way how to deal with that issue. But yeah, that's a good point. Actually, yeah, that can be one of the limitations.
Okay, from my point of view as a professor and researcher, the Yu Mi-jung's question is very good, and the answer Professor Shin is also fantastic, because it's a deep thinking. You must learn from this presentation. You know, never teach this kind of a research context. Actually, the more you experience with paperwork, then you can be able to realize this kind of condition and the manipulation. So I want you to learn from this manipulation and condition about the research context. Yes, it's going to be very big helpful to your research, I guess. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, then maybe it's time to go to the next slide. So I'm sorry, but I'm not sure you guys are seeing the slide right now, right?
Yeah, study one.
Yeah, study one.
Study two.
So study two is about comment filtering, as I said, and first one I did experiment as well. Actually, the experiment is the same process what I did for study one. Only difference is when participants see the video, they also see the comment. The comments are manipulated, as you can guess. So one condition is non-advertising comment. So with the video, these kind of comments are listed together. As you can see, these comments, they indicate this video not as advertisement. Actually, these comments are actually from the real comment from on the YouTube. So they think this is a music video, they think. So I actually use those comments as the manipulation. So as you can see, all the comment doesn't talk about any advertisement at all in this condition. Another condition is the opposite. Everything others are same, but the word for indicating the video is changes into ad, you can see. So this is the manipulation I conducted. And they see the same video. So after exposing to this stimuli, they take the survey and the same question I used for the study one. And this is another experiment I did, so another information for the survey. And this is the finding. So first of all, if you focus on the main effect, both are negatively significant. So it is similar what I found in study one. Native advertising is still working, but the point is moderating. You can see the moderating is only significant about this relationship, which is about video perception, but does not moderate perception about the destination. So the comment filtering can be effective only within the YouTube, according to this finding. Of course, the comment can make you have more interest about the video, about the advertisement, but it is difficult to change your attitude about the destination. So this is what I found from study two. Maybe I can show you the interaction chart about this, how moderating effect looks like. This is the moderation chart. So the right side is perception about the YouTube ad. So the dependent variable. And the axis is advertising recognition high. This is the high and this is the low. So both line goes up, which means advertising recognition goes down, their perception goes up, which is the negative effect of the advertising recognition, right? Both lines goes up, but the blue line is more steep. Blue line is non-advertising comment. So the findings show you, of course, if the advertisement doesn't look like advertisement, people like it. But if also the comment say this is not advertisement, then that effect could be stronger compared to the comment say this is advertisement. So we found the comment filtering effect about the video, but once again, it only about the video. It has not happened in destination. So this is the experiment I did. But I said I did comment analysis once again as well to show the real viewer's reaction. So about this one, this is how I did. So this is what I did for study one. I said the 8 videos were separated in terms of advertising recognition score, whether it is high, whether it is low. But study two is about the comment, right? whether the comment say this video is advertising or not. So I actually see the comment of each video manually once again. So I counted whether the comment talks this video as music video or advertisement, as a film or as music video, as advertisement. In that way, I counted all of them. And this is the percentage. And based on this percentage, I separated another group. So in a simple way, so this is what I did for study 1. I separated videos compared to recognition only. But study 2, I put another criteria. Actually, the real comment talk about that video as advertising or not. So I separated videos by 2 in study 2, because it is also about the comment. So the upper the videos, as you can see, high advertising recognition, but described as non-advertising in comment more frequently. So high advertising recognition, but the comment is non-advertising condition. And this one, low advertising recognition in this side, but described as non-advertising in comment less frequently. So simple term, I divided the videos 2 by 2. One is for advertising recognition, one is for comment filtering. And I compared their actual comment in this way. And this is what I found from the YouTube comment analysis. This is a sentiment score. So whether the comment is generally positive or negative. So you can see the similar trend in here. Both goes up, which means native advertising working, but it works very well when the comment also talking about this video is not advertising. But about the destination perception, you can see quite different trend in here, right? So if we combine the finding of the experiment, finding of the comment analysis, 2 points are clear. One point is absolutely the comment has an impact, how we process the video. But the second point, we are not sure whether the comment also effective in changing our attitude about the destination. It is clear the video attitude we are changing based on the comment filtering, but not sure about the destination attitude. So in a summary, the findings are this way can be summarized. About the native advertising, yeah, they are effective. We found effective. The less advertising look like, the more positive attitude, perception about the video and about the destination, both of them. But comment filtering only works for video, not destination. So the comment effect is limited only within the platform. So this is what I found from the study 1 and study 2. So maybe the first 2 hypotheses can be supported, but about the other 2 hypotheses, which about comment filtering, only one is supported, which is about perception about the video. But perception about the destination cannot be easily changed only because with the comment itself. So this is the summary. Any questions so far, or should I just complete because only implications are remained?
Okay, I have a question at the previous slide. Okay, this is very important findings from this study. Non-advertisement comment, but the advertising recognition high, then the percent of comment expressing in the internet is very high, but the advertising recognition low, then the comment expressing is low. That means, you know, this video actually is originally not designed for non-advertised as contents, but people recognize the YouTube contents as advertising and adding more the comments. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Actually, so in more simple term, this finding is also similar with other things. So simple, if you simply see, so advertising recognition is high and non-advertising comment in here, which means you know this is advertising, no doubt about it. But people thought this is non-advertisement. In that way, backfires can be happen. You can feel I'm deceived. I know this is advertising, but they try to deceive my view. So that's why the perception could be opposite. So this is what the quite similar finding with other studies. So other study, they say this is advertisement. So whether they are exposed, my video is advertisement or not, depending on that, consumers can see they are deceiving myself or they are not quite honest or deceiving. Yeah.
And so as a practical implication, what if you think if I bring this output and outcomes of your research, I bring these outcomes to the 한국관광공사 DMO, what do they respond to our research result? You spend the money $1 million for making this advertisement. Okay, there must be effective way advertising effectiveness, but however, they don't come to Seoul or Korea. There's very limited effectiveness through the YouTube contents, but you spend $1 million for taxing money to this making program. So what do you think?
You asking me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. First of all, so native advertising, actually, I just provide the empirical evidence. So in their report, they say it is successful, but in terms of what? And also this research, at least we can give them empirical answer for that. We actually tested that, even though you said it was successful, but it only happens in the number of views and number of likes. But when we actually test that, yeah, you can say that based on our empirical evidence. So at least we can support what they argue in their report empirically. And about the comment filtering, I think, actually, as you know, the uploader of the YouTube can remove some comment, can pin some comment. Remove comment means you can remove some strange comments, some offensive comment. And pin comment means if you pin some comment, that comment will list it at the upper side of the screen. So those comments are more emphasized. Actually, there are many reports and many marketing research. So comment filtering is important. But another question, then which comment should be pinned, which comment should be removed is not clear at all. So about that point, this research can provide some comments. So supportive comment, of course, it is obvious. But if you make your advertisement in native advertising approach, maybe you should consider pinning the comment, which talking like this advertisement is look like, doesn't look like advertisement. That kind of a supportive comment should be more effectively emphasized. So I think this research finding, first of all, giving the empirical evidence of their argument first, and another one is a little bit more specific guideline. How do they manage their comment of their video, depending on which strategy they use for their video creation.
Okay. Very good. Okay, your questions, students, it's your time. Do not surprising. Is the mainstream research in these days.
I have one question, Professor.
So go ahead.
First, I was wondering about the videos being the comments divided by non-ad comment and the actual ad comment. The thing is that I think this is just my thoughts, but the way the reason they watched the video, the influx was like there are some people who are watching the video because it was popped off from the content they want to watch as an advertisement. And there are some people who might watch the ModMax video because someone like the friend or the community suggested as a like the word of mouth thing. So I think the viral thing actually caused some reasons why they write the non-ad comment, and because some people watch the video as an advertisement, not the video itself, because the content is great, they write they have positive attitude on the content and they write the comment. So I was wondering if like the ad recognition is like low or high due to the word of mouth influence, or how they watch the video, like the 유입 경로 of the video itself.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Good question. Yeah, it is really good. So actually, that is why I adopted the mixed approach. Actually, that is opposite way. When I say about mixed approach, I did experiment, but it is difficult to reflect the real situations. That's why I did YouTube comment analysis. What you said is opposite way, I think. So I did real reaction of the real viewers through the YouTube comment analysis, but that does not control what you said exactly. Very well point. The 유입 경로, they have already perception about the video, and they know, and there are some reasons why they see that video, whether they see it as a pop-up or they search exactly. So I cannot control all these things in the real situation. So that's why I did experiment, because those things can be controlled at some point in the experiment. So yeah, that's good. That's a really good point. So that's why I did experiment, if I answer that question. Actually, at the beginning, because we have talking with the KTO about this project, so if we have some access on their account, YouTube account, maybe we can actually do that in that way. But unfortunately, it was not happened. So that's
they
why
reject our request.
Yeah, so we try to find the proxy as much as possible. So that's why I control the real viewers' reaction in the YouTube comment analysis, and I control that kind of a real stuff, non-controllable factors in the experiment. So that's why I adopted mixed approach. But your point is really valid. That's a good point.
Actually, my political purpose of this study, if we publish it in a top-tier journal, I will advertise this result to our newspaper, and I will kill them, the DMOs, their strategy to make spending money for this kind of a big money, tax money to the YouTube and sort of things. Because, you know, yeah, there must be advertisement effectiveness, they're sure, but not such a destination, you know, the visitations effectiveness at all. So money is just a full purpose of advertising for fun. Why we should spend the tax money of $1 million to this kind of, you know, advertisement to destination, you know, stuff. That's my political goal.
I have another question, Professor.
Okay.
I wonder, you analyze demographic data when you did this study, because most of international tourists include the Chinese tourists. So I think Chinese tourists cannot see the YouTube videos. So do you have any plan for further or next research for targeting?
Yeah, thank you for that. Honestly, the demographic one is only for the survey, because I cannot know who are the commenter is. Actually, it is not from many people of the survey participants are not from China, interestingly, because the MTurk is more full with the Indian people. So Indian people are for the majority of my survey participant was who was that? So yeah, the Indian people. from the Middle East. They are more the majority of the survey participant. And as you said, yeah, right. So some nationality citizens are not access on the YouTube. And also, I think the nationality is really related to the celebrity of the advertisement. Especially the Chinese are really sensitive about the celebrity. And actually these 8 videos, I said some of them showing some celebrity, some rappers, some singers, even though I don't know them. So actually, so many comments are actually talking about the celebrity itself only. So yeah, that can be a good research idea, I think, because one of the early idea when we talk about this one, we also thinking about whether the advertisement with the celebrity or without celebrity, which could be more powerful, actually promoting the destination, not the celebrity itself. So if we target some other national citizens, the result could be different. But I think the other idea which are related to that nation, that country could be more interesting idea. Yeah, maybe in the future, I think if I target the Chinese people, maybe rather than just testing this same idea, maybe celebrity issues could be more important, I think, for advertising, whether include the celebrity or not, which could be more effective in increasing number of views or increasing interest in the destination itself.
Actually, we was trying to investigate BTS effectiveness on YouTube, Seoul Metropolitan YouTube, but they are afraid to showing this kind of result. Only BTS, advertisement effectiveness rather than destination effectiveness. And they spend a lot of money for BTS invitation for making this advertisement. They know that. We try to prove it as we propose, but they're scary. They're scared to our suggest. So they dropped. And also we do research this stuff for our national interest. Do not spend the money for that kind of stuff. But anyway, any questions about?
I also have a question.
Well, from the KTX.
Yes, thank you for your interesting presentation. Your presentation made me up on the screen. It was really interesting. So I think the key point is the native advertisement. So I think that's why you adopted videos from KTO. Can you hear me?
Sorry, can you say one more time? I'm sorry.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. I can.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, no, so yeah, I'll start all over again. So thank you for your presentation. And I think the key point is the native advertisement of this research. And I think that's why you adopted the videos from KTO. But I think like perception of native advertisement is quite subjective. So is there any factors that make feel the viewers think that it's native or not, like based on the surveys or papers?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, that is related to, I'm not remember the answer for whose question. So that's why when I did experiment, I did not separate in binary. So usually in the marketing literature, as you said, the advertising, whether the advertising looks like in this way is really subjective. So usually they just ask the question continuously, rather than asking, do you think yes or no? Yeah, maybe that's the one way to deal with then major issues. But as you well pointed, but this has also limitation because it is fully subjective, as you said. So most literature acknowledge that limitation as well. But at least to deal with the limitation, it should be continuous, first of all, rather than even you did experiment, it is really difficult. It is really dangerous to separate binary. You can just ask them and using the continuous variable for that measurement. And another one, as you said, yeah, it should be acknowledged as a limitation, because if you use the real example, yeah, it can be the biggest issue, one of the biggest issues. So I hope that answers to your question, and good point.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions about methodology? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Professor, thank you for a great presentation. I have a question about the data sample. As you mentioned, I think the characteristic of the sample in study 1 will be different from the sample that wrote the comment on YouTube. So when proceeding with the mixed method, could you explain the part you try to reduce the sample difference? For example, KTO YouTube video show a lot of Korean culture characteristic. So I wonder if the sample in study 1 totally understand the contents of the YouTube video. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so actually, as for the validity question, I just briefly said it is validity question. So I asked them the validity question for 2 reasons, as you said. First of all, I would like to remove some unreliable answers who did not show the full video. And that question is actually about which country is featured in the video. And the persons who answered South Korea exactly, they are only included in the survey. So of course, I cannot control everything for that kind of a point of view, but at least I found the participant who know this content is about South Korea, and they understand in general what this video is about. So that is used as a validity question. So if I defend that point, maybe, yeah, I can answer that way.
And about the methodology, you made a survey question for collecting their opinion data, and you also collecting data from the YouTube by crawling. So what do you think? You mixed the 2 methodology. What is a good point and good advantage of paper publications?
Actually, it is well pointed by the Jung-ho already. So both methodology have strengths and weaknesses. How those strengths and weaknesses can be supplemented for each other. That is the main point for the mixed method approach. So rather than just I'm going to apply different method without any planning, maybe at least you have some reason why you, among many methods, why you pick these 2 as a mixed method approach. I control these things in here, but they have weaknesses in this point, and this point can be complemented the other methodology, which is specific way. So yeah, that's the answer, I think.
Okay. Any other questions?
Professor, it's not questions, just I want to get your insight and opinions about how do we get.
I'm sorry, but just a minute, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Probably someone knocked his room. 이런 연구 방식이 탑티어 논문에 내리려면 필요합니다. 이제는 서베이만 갖고는 갈 수가 없고, 또 빅데이터 연구 방식으로 데이터 크롤링을 했는데 크롤링은 원인을 주기 않거든요. 그래서 이거를 믹스드 하는 거죠. 그러니까 여러분들이 2가지 다 공부를 해야 됩니다. 서베이와 엑스퍼리먼트, 그 2가지뿐만 아니라 데이터 크롤링을 가져다가 엑셀 데이터 모아서 보완은 제로 모더레이팅을 돌리든지 해야 됩니다. 이게 가면 갈수록 어려워지는 메소드를 적용하고 있는데요. 뭐 어쩔 수 없습니다. 좋은 저널에 퍼블리케이션 하려면. 네. 그러니까 여기에 이제 다양한 전공을 갖고 계신 분들 있지 않습니까? 뭐 조리, 외식, 그 다음에 기타. 이런 것들을 보고 그대로 따라서 한번 해보시면 체득이 돼요. 그리고 조금 모방을 할 줄 알고 모방한 다음에 다른 걸로 아이디어를 익스텐션 하는 방식이 배우는 방식입니다. 그러니까 내가 만약에 조리를 한다 또는 외식을 한다 이렇게 하면 예.
Yeah, really sorry. Really sorry. Yeah.
It's okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. For
Go ahead.
Actually, for marketers or DMOs, social media marketing is very important. It's one of the key marketing tools. We know that, but it's very difficult to gather some budget for social media marketing because I'm a marketer of DMO, so I have to persuade the city level or government level government to invest budget for this marketing. But we have to suggest or report a result, kind of effectiveness, the number of clickers or number of impressions like this, but it is not enough. So just as an expert on this field, could you please suggest some insight how we can persuade the government or other organizations to participate in this marketing and invest budget? And also we'd like to share some data to researcher like a university or this center to analyze those kind of researches, but it is very difficult. So could you please share some of your ideas and insights?
Okay, that's really big questions. Maybe I'm not sure I have the expertise in answering that question. So yeah, first point is I fully agree it's really difficult to measure the real effectiveness of that marketing content, especially in the social media, I think. So about the result, just because I'm the researcher, because I'm in the research field, as my humble opinion, of course, the effect in the social media, within the social media platform can be quite clear. Actually, at least we can show the number of views or number of shares and how it is effective in the platform itself. But if there's some further result, if the further effectiveness would like to be discussed, maybe in the real field is really difficult, is really impossible, I think. At least I think it should be tested in this experiment way or some other control way. If we want to say this content, as the content is really effective or not, of course, we should show the actual effect in the social media platform. But if you would like to add the further findings about the effectiveness, rather than talking about just what people are talking about in the world, maybe just control way, some experiment could be more effective, at least could be more objective.
Yeah. That's why the researchers try to find out the cause and result and publish it the top tier journals. And the practitioners bring it to their policy based on our output. So like this, Professor Shin, he proved the effectiveness of the advertisement on specific, destination. But destination effectiveness is not as much as advertisement. So you read it. So intelligent employee we need who can be able to read academic journal and bring it to their office or government. They may be persuaded by your argument.
Actually, it is quite short limited. So my main point is as much as possible, the different answers would be better, I think. So not only in the social media platform, it can be just the research, but research is just the research. So maybe other aspects should be also included as much as possible.
Okay, other questions? It's a very good chance to talk with the great researcher, potentially. Okay. If you want to use Korean, you can ask Korean.
예, 감사합니다. 한국말 잘해요, 저.
오케이. 그러면 나도 한국말로 물어봐야지. 그러니까 리서치는 이제 됐고, 우리 여기서 석사 2년 하고 박사 미국 가서 4년 하셨는데, 그리고 바로 홍콩 폴리텍 가셨는데, 그 비결이 뭡니까?
비결이요. 운이 좋았던 것 같습니다. 뭐 비결 하나. 근데 뭐 근데 이게 상황적인 좀 운이 잘 따랐던 것 같아요. 지금 그 선배님들도 그때 순간순간 선배님들 의견을 물어보면 취업이 잘 되고 안 되고가 사실 자기한테 달린 경우가 아닌 경우가 굉장히 많더라고요. 그래서 학교에서는 이걸 할 수 있는 사람을 구하는데 내가 그걸 못하면 학계 쪽도 너무 그런 게 커서 그러니까 그때마다 이제 상황적인 운이 따라서 저는 이제 간 것 같은데, 그래가지고 나중에 이제 뭐 지원을 하시거나 하실 때 그게 안 됐다고 해서 이제 내가 잘 못하고 있구나 그렇게 생각하실 필요는 없을 것 같아요. 그거 말씀드리려고 지금 말씀을 드린 것 같고, 그런데 이게 어느 정도 자기가 하시는 일 하시면 알아보시는 분들은 다 알아보시더라고요. 아카데믹 쪽에서는 뭐 업계도 그렇지만 워낙 좁은 세상이다 보니까 어떻게든 다 알게 돼 있고, 그러니까 자기 하시는 일을 하실 줄 아시면 제 생각에는 성적인 운만 따르면 어디든 가고 어디든 되고, 예, 그래서 아마 그래서 이제 뭐 결과 말씀드리면 상황적인 운이 좀 따른 것 같습니다.
상황적인 운. 상황은 우리가 만들 수가 없죠. We cannot control the situation and phenomenon.
만족스러운 대답을 못 드린 것 같아서 죄송하네요.
만족스러운 대답은 이제 석사과정 때 부철목에서 만나서 이게 만족스러운 대답.
예, 구 교수님이 잘 해주셨습니다.
여러분들 농담인 거 아시죠? 농담 아닌 거 아시죠? 자, 다른 질문 있나요? Any other questions? No question? Oh, okay. Let me point out. Halong Dong, you from Vietnam?
Yes, I'm coming from Vietnam. Yep.
Yeah, Vietnam. So what do you expect from the College of Hotel and Tourism in Kyunghee University academically?
I think that's quite amazing experience for me to study in this university. I'm in one of the top educational institute in Korea. I'm very happy for this. And yeah, so one of the thing is I think that's maybe it's better for me to network with with my college here, my friends, my fellow student, PhD student, postgraduate student, so that we are able to develop, to enhance our academic careers in the future. Yeah, but at the moment it seemed to be unavailable during the corona pandemic, and but I think maybe it's going to be better if the university offer some kind of community or clubs or academic clubs for students to be able to work with not only postgraduate student but also the researcher at Kyunghee University. So I think this provide more opportunity for us to collaborate in the future.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm looking for that kind of network.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sabina, you're from Denmark.
Yes.
So what are your expectations of your master degree career or PhD career in Kyunghee University, and what you learn from now through this seminar?
My expectations is, of course, new knowledge, things I don't already know. For me, today's class was very nice because I have a bachelor's degree. So everything with marketing is kind of relevant in my case. So for me, it's very nice to see, yeah, just projects about that because it's my interest.
Okay, you Alexandrov. Ilyana. Okay.
Yes.
You from Istanbul? Oh.
Nope, I'm from Bulgaria.
Bulgaria, okay.
Yes. Is it the same question?
Yes.
Okay, okay. I grew up around tourism and hotels because my mom used to work in a medical center that was in a hotel. So I was very interested in that area for a long time. So I got a chance to come here with a scholarship. So I decided to take it. And yeah, I just want to work in that area. So
okay,
my expectation is to learn and be able to work later.
Okay. Hazen, your study under supervision, Dr. Bach. He professionally good at the data-driven research. What do you do these days about your research? And then your research probably can quite relate it to Professor Shin, data-driven research, wherever.
Currently, I'm actually writing the paper, but I'm struggling because like writing is not the easy process, and I think I'm a little bit late in writing skills, so that I'm just kind of like confused about that. But for the analysis, I'm actually it was quite interesting for me because I had never analyzed any like social media data or like in aspects of like social media, like in that aspect. So it was kind of interesting for me to to listen what Professor Shin is doing right now. But for me, it's a little bit different, I guess. So I'm just more focused on the spatial analysis of the big data fields of study. So, but it was very interesting for me to know different aspects and the different methodologies for understanding big data fields and also the analysis. Thank you.
Okay. And no question. Okay, Dr. Shin, can you say something about the research and the campus life and PhD life and then collaboration and good motivational comment to our students? Anything if you want to say?
I think this is the most difficult part, I think, for the presentation. About the research, because I'm not that expert at all, so that's why I'm not sure my advice is valuable. But my advisor, Dr. Ku as well, and my doctoral advisor always say about the research idea. The main question is, so who cares about it? What matters? So I think if you think that idea, even it is small, if it is specific, if it is too specific, too limited, if it has some meaning in the real world, I think that can be a great idea. So I think whether the idea is really big or small doesn't matter, I think, in terms of the research. And also, at least you like it. Yeah, focus. If you like it, I think so. In the end, so the major stage is persuading your advisor. So if you do not like it, it cannot be happened. And the supervisor is always just want to make your thinking a little bit further. So that's why what this idea matters then. So, but if you at least you like it, you have your own way. You can find the way. So maybe for finding what you like and finding what you do, finding you can do. Maybe if you can do that, yeah, the most stages can be doable, I think. So yeah, focus on what you like. So still, I'm also not aware what I like now. So I'm not eligible to say that, but yeah, to my experience, that's my advice, I think.
He still is a status of to be or not to be in academia. It's a top question. Okay, and any other questions? Okay. So far we are talking about the advertisement case, which is very popular one in these days because of YouTube effectiveness for everywhere. But so far, through my research experience with Dr. Shin, this case is most delicate and specific about YouTube context. So I learned from him very well about the research context, but which is very powerful, findings toward government policy. So I think through this presentation, you must see this presentation repeatedly again and again, and design your stuff, your research later, hopefully. And also I got the idea from this presentation. Another one is design. Dr. Shin, he's starting off his presentation about device and the vertical way and horizontal way, and which one is more effective to see the YouTube contents. Only YouTube contents by pictorial or image, or image with comments is the matter when we see the device vertical way and horizontal way. That's gonna be good question, research question to the context of design, smart tourism design. Okay, naturally signals, naturally interpret, naturally perceptions. So I also learned from this stuff from his presentation. Probably next research I will do this stuff, design with device, vertical and horizontal, or different things. So the research question is never come to us naturally. We have to think deeply and deeply based on your previous study. That's what I'm thinking. That's we learn, that's we get together and sharing ideas at a certain place like this seminar. Okay. Okay, Dr. Shin, thank you very much. You always helpful to me so far. So good. Hopefully our study can be published in Journal of Smart Tourism. Travel Research. Okay, you guys, no more questions? One last question from Unjili. You're starting off writing.
Yeah. I don't have any question. Thank you for interesting and great presentation, Professor Shin.
Okay. Okay, time is up, and have a good day, and Friday, TGI Friday, right? Yeah, drinking and resting. Bye-bye. See you next Friday. Thank you.